So it's begun. I have cut out some pieces of lining. I'm going to, well, let me show you. Here they are. I've had to try and adjust it a bit because I have gained some weight since the last time I did this, so I had to extend it out past where I had initially cut it, and I have guesstimated on this, so I'm going to put together one side, test it out. If that works, then I will use this to cut out the rest of my fabric pieces instead of this. So fingers crossed. As you can see, I'm at the sewing stage, and I've already screwed up. I attached something to the wrong side, and yeah. Thing is I questioned it even when I was pinning it together to get ready to sew it, and I just thought, no, that's right, it's fine. And then when I opened it up, I was like, no, I've flatlined pieces together for these back pieces and side pieces. I have also put interfacing in there just to kind of give them some more structure. I have two kinds of boning. I bought this, but I thought it was too flimsy, even though this is flimsy as well. I just feel like this steel boning is going to be a little better. I actually got this off Amazon and this off of Truly Victorian. I'll leave links in the description, but it actually goes over here. And then the very middle pieces, I haven't put interfacing on those, and I'm debating if I should, because while this doesn't make it too stiff, really, you can see it's a lot stiffer, right? And I just don't know if that's going to look right here as it will like in the back and the side. But then it might stand out. I don't know. Because maybe the front's the place that needs the interfacing the most, right? My real concern with that is the darts. I'm just afraid that that's going to make it harder to put darts in place. That, see, I feel like this is going to lay more seamlessly on itself than doing it with the interlining. I feel like that's, I don't know. Decisions. Anyway. So, I have decided that I need to do interfacing on everything, just consistency's sake. So I am in the process of fusing the interfacing to the fabric. It's the kind that you just kind of put a damp cloth underneath, set the iron on it, let it do its thing. So hoping I get through this part tonight. It's, I don't know, I think somewhere around 9. Looking for my phone to check the time. Guess what I'm filming on. And it's not like I don't have a watch on. Yeah, 9:10. And I suddenly was like, oh, I need to do that. Decaf. Because I'm old now. And that's how that happens. I'll confess, I wasn't sure about this. So as any, I think, person trying to figure this out would do, I called my mom. Well, I sent her a video message and was like, hey mom. And she told me what I didn't want to hear, which is what I should have been told. And that was, yes, you should, for consistency's sake, do that to all the pieces. And I'm like, fine. So I took apart the pieces I'd already flatlined in order to do this. So I've got this piece and then the other piece like this, let them dry out, and then I have to do the front in the middle. I think the thing that really kind of made me think I should do this, and probably what made her agree with me, was that you know, the front will have buttons, and this will just give that area a little bit more stability as well. What's that brown spot? You didn't get on my fabric, did you? Yeah, that's just a stain on my, just an old stain. It's an old wash rack, so probably. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Because, you know, it's that time of night where I'm like, I've watched all the YouTube videos I can. Mostly a disgusting amount of content about the new Stray Kids album, 5-star. Have I watched the video for S-Class more times than a rational woman my age probably should? Yes. Do I care? No. Am I gonna watch it more? Yes, but I'm gonna watch it by watching people's reactions to it, because then it's different, right? Then I'm not watching it again. I'm watching other people watch it. Because, you know, that's the way my fangirl brain works. Age is just a number, people. Age is just a number. You know, until I've been sitting at my desk for about an hour, and then I try to stand up, and then age is very much my joints. But, yeah. So, taking a break from the Stray Kid content to work on this, which is kind of the insanity I went through when I fell down the Mo Dao Zu Shi rabbit hole. First I watched the Donghua, then I started reading the book, and then I started looking for every bit of content I could find on YouTube that had to deal with it, whether it was people's reactions to the Donghua, which gave me the excuse to watch the entire Donghua over again, people's reactions to the live action show, which gave me the excuse to watch that again. I will find it, and bless the fandom out there for giving it their all. Alright, did this actually fuse on here? Yes. Sweet. Alright. So, one piece down. A few more to go. I finished interfacing all the pieces. So now I've got to flatline the remainders, and while I was doing that, I thought, why not take, nope, that one. Do you like the Frankenstein job I did on the interfacing on this one? Because I was running out of it. Whoopsie. Is this there? Yes. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. I thought while I'm doing this, now might be a good time to start a fanside chat on the show and characters that I'm basing this off of. Because for some inexplicable reason to me, I didn't do that the last time I was making my costume. When I was doing the Regency version of this. So I was like, I guess I can start now. Mo Dao Zu Shi. I have seen it translated into English mostly as the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. But the Donghua, for some reason, I saw translated out as the founder of Diabolism. And then the live action version actually had a different title altogether and was translated as The Untamed. So yeah, so you have the book, which is the original version of the story, written by Mo Dao Zu Shi, MXTX. And then it was done into a Donghua, or a Chinese animation, a manhua, which is like a graphic novel, the live action version, and then an audio drama. So I've read the book and own it now in the English. I've read the manhua and am currently getting the copies as they come out. I have watched the Donghua, I cannot say how many times. Same thing with the live action drama. Cannot say how many times I've watched it. I have not done the audio drama. For some inexplicable reason to me, I cannot sit through things like audiobooks. I have tried. I cannot do it. My mind just cannot concentrate on it. I can sit and read a book for hours and not move a muscle. But you try to get me to listen to it, I just can't. I can't. There are definitely subtle changes, from the book to the Donghua to the live action. I don't think the manhwa changed much. And I can't speak to the audio drama, obviously. How did I get into it? Well, fandom. Specifically your Real Nice fandom. I know what? But here's the thing. So I was following the artist Giris, who I think I've mentioned previously. And I was following them on social media, and I was admiring all their beautiful artwork of all these different characters that I was familiar with. But there were these two characters that I saw that I didn't know. And if I do this properly, they're going to show up over here. So one was all in white. And that is Len Zhen, or Lan Wangxi, or his other title, which I cannot, for the life of me, say, is Han Wangxun. I'm going to type how it's spelled here, but I cannot say it for some reason. I do not know why it does not come trippingly off the tongue. But yeah, that character. The other character was more my speed, because he's all black and reds. And that would be Wei Wuxian, or Wei Ying. So here's the thing. I cannot call him Wei Ying, even though I think that's probably the more appropriate name for me to call them. I still don't understand the difference between your given name, your courtesy name, and like a title. But because Lan Wangji uses Wei Ying so often, and there's a specific way he says it that is just entirely Lan Wangji, I have to call him Wei Wuxian. I cannot call him Wei Ying. Same thing as I can't call Lan Wangji Lan Zhen. because there's a very specific way that Wei Wuxian says it, and I just don't feel right saying it myself because I don't say it like him, and it's weird. But there we go. Anywho, I saw these two characters, and I got intrigued, and I was like, oh, who are they? So I went down into, the little posting underneath and what they, what the artist said they were. And then I down into the comments to try to figure out who these two characters were. And one hashtag kept standing out, and that was MDZS. Excuse me. And so to the internets I went, typed it in a search bar, and I want to say like the third option. Got the hiccup suddenly. The third option down was the Donghua, which at the time I was like, ooh, an animation. Dang it. Okay, give me just a second. So I was like, woohoo, an anime. Yeah, now I know. No, it wasn't an anime. It's a Donghua. One is Chinese, one is Japanese. I know that now. I get it. So, of course, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I love that stuff. So, I'll be honest. I really, really thought that I would probably watch maybe an episode or two, just kind of get the understanding of who they were and what it was, and then I would like peace out. Because typically, what I was reading about it a little bit, nothing that gave away the plot, just like a general, description of it was just didn't sound like something that was up my alley. Because for some inexplicable reason to me, I think I was picturing it more as like an isekai, and I do not like isekais. I don't know why it's not a genre I can get into, but I just don't like it. Um, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. Old lady eyes. So I started watching it, and okay. Let me just break this down for you, right? So it starts, and it is in a dark forest, and there are these characters walking around, and they are looking pretty freaked out. Which, I mean, that already intrigued me. So they're walking around, and I think you start to hear a flute, and then it's been a while since I watched the first episode, and then these creatures start coming up out of nowhere, and then people start screaming and crying out, and next thing you know, the shot pans up into the trees, and there's this figure standing in the trees playing a flute. And they're all in these black flowing robes, and they've got this red ribbon just kind of blowing in the wind with all this long, gorgeous hair that I just am so like envious of. And their eyes start glowing red, and crows are just like a whole murder of crows is just flying around behind them. And I just was, here is my fandom soul. I am selling it to you. Because that was it. That was all I needed. You had me intrigued with art about the characters, but all I needed was that opening scene, and I knew I was in this. I was in it. There was no turning back. And I didn't. And holy hell. Sorry. Oh my goodness. When I say that the opening credits to this Donghua, all 3 seasons, are some of the most stupidly gorgeous things I have ever seen. I am not exaggerating. It is ridiculous. Did I get it? Yes. How beautiful these opening credits are. It's just, like, if I had money to throw around and I owned my own house, I literally would probably purchase an entire wall of video screens so that I could just have the opening credits for all 3 seasons playing on a constant loop. Like, that's how beautiful it is. You know what? No, I take it. I would have that, and I would have the opening credits to the other Donghua, which is based off another of MX's TX's works, Heaven Official's Blessing, which I will talk about at some point, playing on loop, because that, there's only 1 season of that out right now, but I think the 2nd season will be coming out this year. Knock on bamboo wood. I think this is bamboo. They told me it was. Anyway, yeah, because that too is redonkulously gorgeous. So is the art for the manhwa of Heaven Official's Blessing by Starember. Look, I know we're talking about MDZS, but I'm just saying, go look up Heaven Official's Blessing and Starember. Tell me that that artwork does not make you want to just slap something, that it doesn't make you salivate, that it doesn't just punch you in the gut with how ridiculously gorgeous it is. Ridiculously gorgeous. As is the opening credits for Mo Dao for MDCS. So yeah, just do it. Just do it. You'll thank me. Just do it. Anyway, so opening credits, opening scene. I'm in this. I am sold. And honestly, I thought right away that my favorite character was going to be Wei Wuxian, the character, all in black and grays and reds, because those are my aesthetics. But no. The first character I gravitated toward was Lan Wangxi, because the first thing you really kind of, well, not the first thing, but pretty soon into the story, you, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. I'm all over the place, aren't I? Okay, so, spoilers. Spoiler alert, right now. So this is why I first thought it was isekai. Okay, a character does something bad to themselves personally. You can kind of figure that one out so that the soul of Wei Wuxian will take over their body. And I think, however it was explained in whatever synopsis I had read, made it sound like he was reincarnated from one world into another, and that's not it at all. It's his world. I think, depending on the version you're going into, somewhere between 13 to 16 years have lapsed since Wei Wuxian's character previously had perished, and now they're being brought back several years later into the same world, but several years later. And he wakes up in someone else's body, but here was the kicker. Here was the kicker, and another reason why I couldn't stop watching this. He remembers everything. Like, ordinarily something like this would happen. Like, it started and I was like, oh, here we go. He's going to be in this person's body and he's not going to know who he is. And then, like, things are going to start happening. He'll start remembering. No, no. No, 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 no. He remembers day one exactly who he is or was. And all of that. What he doesn't know is why someone would do this because it's not like he was a fan favorite of everyone. I mean, you know, he was essentially the bad guy and they him in the past, right? So, yeah. So after that opening scene and then the credits, and then that's how the story starts, I was like, I already sold you my fandom soul. I have nothing left to give you. What else do you want from me? just, just brilliant. Brilliant. Genius. All of it. Just perfection. Yeah. So anyway, so he's in the present, and then the story gets started, and he starts meeting people along the way that he knew in the past, which of course he's in someone else's body, and blah blah blah. Anyway, they time jump then in his memories back to the past when they were teenagers, and a bunch of the clans all got together at this one clan. Look, okay, they're sects, SECT. But if I try to say that as I just did, and I'm not paying attention, and I can't say it in the plural, it's going to sound like something else. So I'm just saying clan. I know it's not right, but there we go. Okay, so he goes to this other clan. All the kids from different clans are getting together at this one clan, the Gusulan clan. The Cloud Recesses is where they live, and they're all going to do like this study exchange type of thing, essentially. And that's where he first meets Lan Wangji, that character who was all in white. And I was like, Lan Wangji, like, I'm here with you. In some ways, my friend. In other ways, not so much. But in school, I was that kid. I was that kind of giddy know-it-all who kind of sat quietly, and if I could sit in the front of the room I would, but usually I couldn't because my last name is towards the end of the alphabet, and then we always got sat by last name, so I was always in the back. But if I could sit in the front, I would. Anyway, but I was that kid, mostly because I was socially awkward. I had a bit of social anxiety, didn't really know how to deal with it, and so yeah, not saying I was anywhere as bad as Lam Wangxi. I still had friends. I still had kids that I would hang out with at school, but I wasn't like Miss Popularity, right? Um, and inevitably, I would have a class clown of some sort sitting in my vicinity, usually either in front of me or next to me or behind me. But at some point, someone like that would sit around me, and it was like radar for them going off, because the moment they were sat anywhere near me, it was like, you're the quiet one. I'm gonna make you laugh. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make you do something. And yeah, they would start teasing me, or they would start like doing, like, if they sat in front of me, they would stretch backwards across my desk. If they sat beside me, they'd be throwing like notes onto my desk with like goofy jokes or whatever on it. Nothing malicious, right? Nothing malicious. No one was bullying me. I think it was just, this thing like, here's this quiet kid, and I just wanted to watch them kind of come out of their shell type of a thing. But at the time I got really uptight about it. But looking back, I could honestly say, like, no, nobody was mean about it. Wei Wuxian takes it to an extreme. He is a bit of a bully, in my honest opinion, to Lan Wangxi. But in that kind of vein, I understood a lot about Lan Wangxi towards the beginning of the story, because I'm like, I know that kid. Like, I was that kid, and I know that other kid because I was that kid. The one thing I didn't want to admit was I was also another kid, and that would have been Xianchang, who I'm basing this off of, because I also If I wasn't being the super studious, quiet kid in school and I had other friends, they would inevitably, you know, get me to do things that I would then get super nervous about. And I had a bit of a temper. But anyway, all that to say is just the story hooked me within the first at 5, maybe 10 minutes. And I don't know what, 2.5 years later, I'm still hooked into it. I still will watch the live action when I can, um, as long as it's on a streaming service I can watch. I did break down and buy like a subscription to the streaming service that owns the rights to it, at least to the Donghua, just so I can watch it. Because like I have to get my fix. I need it. And then with Seven Seas Entertainment having bought the rights to the novel to publish in English, I finally can own the novel in English. I have bought like some versions in the original Chinese, but of course I can't reread them that way. And I love the fact that Seven Seas is using the fan translations and fan artists to do the art inside the novels. That to me is just amazing and wonderful. And I don't know the whole ins and outs, and I've heard that there's like some brouhahas going on with the publishing company, but I'm not getting into that. But all that to say, like, yeah, makes me very happy. So anyway, that's my brief, crazy ramblings on why I got into MDCS. I should probably end that here. It's enough of my... Can you tell that I never write these out before I start doing them? Maybe I should start doing that. Maybe they'd make a lot more sense if I had a plan going in and didn't just start rambling about it off the top of my head. What's the fun of that? These are for me. Anyhow, if you watched this far, why? Thank you. I will leave some links down below to anything I've discussed, which hopefully I'll remember. I'll have to go back and watch all this because I'm a little loopy right now. Okay, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna work on this so I can concentrate on it, and then yeah, I will pick up my love of MDCS in the next video when I'll still probably be sewing because I'm slow. Anyway, until next time.